Okay, looks like we're on. How's it going, everybody? We got the beautiful, sweet sister, Victoria Liljenquist with us today. I'm excited to see what she's got coming in and sharing space with her. She put out a couple of really cool, I know one really cool video a few days ago. And she's been keeping everybody abreast of what's happening with her personally, which is such a gift because it just is, when we share our experiences, there's a lot of code in it. It's not as exciting as some of the downloads and stuff that we get, but it's got some tremendous wisdom through our experience. And she's been out there doing this for a long, long time. So let's get her in here. Let's see now. Hey, Victoria.
Hi there, Todd.
How are you doing, sweet lady?
Oh man, I'm navigating.
Isn't this exciting though? Isn't it exciting?
Wow. It is absolutely a divine process, and I'm excited. I'm doing great.
Yeah, me too. Me too. Really, it's really a time for us to walk the talk. To hold the 0 point, to not get caught up in the narratives and get pulled off the 0 point.
Absolutely. Well, we're in the illusion. We've been in the illusion on this 3D planet, and we're getting ready just to move into universal reality. Yeah. And so it's very easy for people around us to try to pull us back, but we just have to stand our ground. And if I hadn't been shown the things that I've been shown my entire life, I might not be so stubborn and firm on I'm sticking to my story. That's my story, and that's what it is. It never changes. And but I'm very, very grateful to be with you, Todd. We've had to kind of reschedule a few times, and I appreciate that. And I send you and Morgan so much love and support, and I hope everyone can lend their support to you. It's we're kind of all in the same boat right now. I can't even see clients now. I'm in my office, but the state has locked us down. But it's all good, and I'm safe. I'm back in Colorado, and my friend Robin is more stable, and I've got people lined up to help her. So I'm just happy to be back here in with my tribe in this beautiful mountain paradise, because the ships are out and they are coming, my friend. They're hanging out there. They're waiting. They're waiting for us.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't even know where to start. I'm going to hand it over to you, but you made a video I think it was 2 days before you were scheduled to come on, which I know was a Wednesday, so it'd been like 10 days ago.
Yes.
And you know, in the work that I do and have been doing, especially with the video part of it, which goes back to about 2015, I recognize through my own work and other people's work that it's never it's never as much about the words, it's about the frequency or the combination of frequencies that they represent when they do a broadcast, in particular, because of the fact that there's a voice and there's sound and imagery, even if the imagery is just me looking at you or the person. But it's what's not said, it's the frequencies, it's the vibration. And that particular video that you did carried like a Mother Mary frequency. It was just like it was like so appropriate for what Morgan and I have been receiving the last few days in particular, in that the feminine energy has fully stepped in without fear of repression, almost like there's enough space been cleared that frequency, the goddess, mother goddess frequency is now able to stand firmly on the ground. I don't know if that resonates with you, but if you want to start with the message you had on that video, or anywhere else that you want to start, we're
Well,
all ears.
when I do those, I'm in trance somewhat, a conscious trance channel, and Mother Mary does come through me. Jesus Christ comes through me, Saint Germain, Ezekiel, and thank you for that, Todd. I just felt like I needed to put the words out to people. In spite of what you see, it is not what you're seeing. And we have to just continue. Sorry, I still have this crazy throat thing. I mean, I'm not sick, but it's like, man, all these allergies and everything flying around.
Well, I
But
wonder, who did I have on yesterday? Was Pamela Jane Garand, who's been doing this work for a long time, like you have, over 20 years. And she kept saying her throat was something was happening. And then she kind of related to energetics of the heart coming through the throat now, which to me is the voice of that mother goddess frequency, regardless of who it is. Yeah, but maybe that's what it is.
well, it seems like every time I get ready to do a video, the throat thing acts up. So I think it is an aspect of those energies that step in. And but what I want to start with, my dear friend Jean Henderson, you've had her on the show, but she called me this morning very distressed because, and I wanted to share this briefly. There's so much on the media that's frightening the little children. The little children are scared to death. And these children are the leaders of our new root race. They are going to be with us on the new earth and to lead us. And it's really important for parents to be very watchful of what their children are seeing. I mean, turn the news off. Yes, Jennifer, thank you. Um, um, so she was very upset because her grandchildren were frightened to death. And so it's important for those of us that are on the cutting edge. I mean, this is graduation. We have
Yes.
been waiting for this time. And I have to say up front right now that I don't think it's, I don't even know that we're going to get the stimulus money. It's not even going to matter. I think things are going to be shifting quicker than that. I asked the Brotherhood last night, and I was standing out there under, I mean, every star in the universe was above me, and the ships were everywhere, but I couldn't film because I was choking to death because somebody was burning a cotton picking fire somewhere. There was
Yeah.
too much smoke. But they have indicated to me, as I have said before, this is how I've been shown. We are going to go to sleep. That's why I encourage everyone. I think it's perfect that people have to be home with their families and not at work, and they need to be in that quiet place within themselves, because we are going to change in a twinkling of an eye, and our whole DNA strand, our whole molecular structure is being changed right now.
Yeah.
And it's perfect because people are not out, they're not being distracted, they're not busy. And I really believe that we're going to go to sleep and we are going to wake up, and we'll be in that universal reality. We're not going to be in this crazy illusion. So many people are concerned about martial law and all of that. And I've asked, I said, is that going to be part of my reality? And they said, absolutely not.
Yeah.
Absolutely not. Now, what do you feel about that, Todd?
Well, I'm sitting here and watching everything, and of course, I have the uh, the luxury of being with a divine feminine that carries the same type of vibrational frequency and experience and connection that you do. So it's an interesting vantage point. So I obviously look at the fear-based programming, which we've all been aware of, with growing awareness and the effect it's had on us, and how it's much deeper than solidity, in terms of, like, metal implants or just things like that. It's
Yes.
energetic, it's in waveform, it's in the power of suggestion. It's in so many ways that we're just now starting to get our arms around. And then I look at the what I call the savior based programming, which is narratives, and there's so many narratives, and I don't question anyone's reality. Um, I know this is an inside job. I know that we contain all things within ourselves. I know that we're learning what that is. I also know in my own heart, and I don't have to have anyone agree with me, but I know in my own heart that I, in a significant enough number of people in this world, have done enough inner work to do something to create space for
Yes.
the energies that have been pressed and left out, causing the major imbalance here. And we can talk about patriarchal, and we can talk about the divine feminine frequency, goddess frequency being suppressed. Now, having said that, I also believe, and have, as many of us have, tried to stay abreast of things, not to be, to watch videos on YouTube and alternate news, and even to check occasionally mainstream to see what they're not telling us, and I do that.
Exactly. It's like
Yeah,
you're watching a movie. You're
yeah,
not embracing it. You're just observing.
yeah, and knowing
Yes.
that it all carries information for me, or I wouldn't be looking at it. Now, and I try to do my best to stay front in that vantage point that you're talking about. Now, having said all that, I just, and this fits right in. There's no coincidences. After the last show and before this show, I started watching an episode that just came out on Project Camelot with Carrie Cassidy, who was talking to a whistleblower who had a lot, like a lot of them, had a lot of interaction through CIA, Black Ops, and so on and so on. And of course, I was discerning his truth frequency, but I know the truth frequency just feels a certain way, and you can kind of tell even if a person's not 100% all the time. But my point is this: one of the things that he said was how powerful the dark, let's just call the dark forces have been. And he was a little bit pessimistic as to, would there be arrest and this and that. None of that really concerns me. What really struck me, though, was that he said that in his own right, he had claimed his sovereignty. And he described a process that I'd been introduced to by Morgan and seen a lot of other people write about, which was to basically take back our soul aspects, to take back all of our oaths and promises and contracts, and to bring everything back inside of us. And he said in his experience of highs and lows with, let's just say, ET races and otherwise, that they told him there's nothing we can do to stop an individual from doing that. And I think this is where we're at, to answer your question. I think we're at a place now where we're on the precipice of a huge expansion that could happen as quick as this weekend. I mean, I don't know. Easter's coming up next month. I mean, who knows? But the only thing to me that's holding us back is the fear-based programming, the savior-based programming, and at the end of the day, ourselves. We're giving power away. You said right now, I'll hand it back over to you, but you said, this is my truth, and I'm going to be stubborn about it, and I'm going to stick with it. And I believe that's what we all have to do, even if our truths don't match on the superficial level. Energetically, they're the same, and that is sovereignty. I am soul, and I can claim my sovereignty and claim my power and stabilize my field and be my own peace and protection in any dimension, in any timeline. And I think that's where we're at because of people like you.
It is. And if we just hold that vibration and we bring in that Christ light, we all have 9 selves. As we pass through life, each experience comes along and another aspect steps in to help us with that mission. I've even experienced looking in the mirror and watching beings stepping into my body,
Yeah.
that I know are helping me to go to the next level of what I need to do. And we know on a higher level, because when we're beaming back and forth at night, I mean, people are saying it all the time. I don't feel like I got any sleep.
Yeah.
Or you wake up, I wake up on a diagonal and with my arms up like this. And I know I've been up on the ship coming back and forth. We're getting our instructions. And really, there's more of our essence is already there, Todd.
Yeah.
There's only a little bit of our essence left here, fighting the battles, and assisting the people and saying, look, don't go there, don't be in that energy, just go inside and be in peace and remember who you are. And fortunately, I've been awake since I've been 5 years old, and it's been a long journey, and I'm so excited because this is graduation.
Yeah.
And speaking of this weekend, Todd, in my movie, Encounters with Angels, divine messages with the UFOs and the ultra terrestrials, I share my vision, and I'll just recap it briefly.
Yes.
1997, I was traveling to Salt Lake to see family. Yes, I was raised in the Mormon faith, but I'm not LDS, but I honor, and respect people of all religions. I'm on my way to Salt Lake and I stop in Lake Powell. They tell me to film myself. I filmed myself. I started to dematerialize on film. The next morning I saw this and I was dematerializing. I also went on the ship and I was out in space, and I saw our Earth and I saw the second Earth. And I saw this sort of implosion or transplanting process onto that other Earth. And the next morning I spoke to the camera and I said, well, I was on the mothership last night and this is what they showed me. And I need more information. And by the way, man, I was disappearing on film, had my tripod going. And so the next day I traveled to Salt Lake to see my family for Easter because it was Easter weekend on March 30th and 31st in 1997. That night I went back to sleep, and I'm thankful because usually I don't get two visions 2 nights in a row. But it was great. It was just like watching a movie on a DVD. And what I saw is what we are seeing now.
Yeah.
I was seeing the frenzy of confusion
Yeah.
of people. And, I think people are calming down a little bit more. But in my vision, I looked on the balconies and there were people running around and they just didn't understand. And then I saw this glorious other planet come into our atmosphere, completely filled up the sky. You could see no atmosphere at all. All you could see was the planet, just right like this. And they said, oh, who are you and what do you want? And I said, this is beautiful. Don't be afraid. And then I heard a voice say, Victoria, this is your new home. And then it started to move away. The dolphins were swimming. And you notice that the dolphins have now come back and they're swimming in the oceans and around Venice, and the fish are coming back. And there's all these signs.
Yeah.
And and then the third vision was when Princess Diana passed away. And that vision, I mean, I could look beside me and I was in my room, and then I saw this panorama in front of me, and I saw myself going to the window and opening up the shutters, and the world had made the shift. We had just gone through it. We'd slept through it. Now, I've had numerous visions about, there's one I had in October in 2011. And in the vision, I was trying to get back for my participation on an event, and I couldn't get back because of the clamoring people pulling me down into the swimming pool of life. And by the time I got back, the celebration had happened. Everyone was dancing, like you could see like the monks dancing, and everyone was celebrating. And then a few days later, there were a few of us that were in a room, and Mother Mary and Jesus were in there with us. And people kept showing up at the door. We had to get more chairs, more chairs, more chairs. They were coming, they were waking up. And many people are waking up kind of a little bit faster now with all the bizarreness of the virus and what have you's going on. But those that don't wake up, they will wake up in a twinkling of an eye.
Yeah.
If it is their soul's
Yeah.
journey, their soul's destiny, their promise, their commissioned promise to move on. And those that are passing away now, perhaps they're supposed to be on the other side to usher things in. I have a whole crew of people on the other side, and I know that they're assisting me. And so what I want to express to people is, like you said, stand in your power, let your vibration raise. A lot of these physical symptoms are not the virus. They might be part of our transformation, our transmutation of, because we are being changed. I've been changed for a long time, Todd. I mean, I've been kind of strange. I mean, I was filming my body inside the closet, and my body's transparent. I could hold the camera up and you could see all the chakra colors inside my body through a 35 millimeter. So I know this, I've lived this. And I just say, let's just celebrate this. But, you know, this weekend, first to next week, we could be. I mean, those are the dates. Next Monday is the 30th and Tuesday's the 31st. And I would love it if that vision transpired to the date and the time. But 7 years ago, Jesus Christ himself came to me, to my bedroom, put his hands on me, and I thought, are you getting ready to take me? Is it my time? And he said, it's not your time, it's humanity's time.
Mm,
And and I said, well, what would you have me say to the people? And he says, every day, just love yourself, love others, serve others, be in joy, forgive, and just, let all that, the onion skins of life fall away.
yeah.
And people that have their stories that have, they live their story and, oh, poor me. And it's time, people have got to let their stories go
Yeah.
and say, I'm going to be like a cat, and I'm going to take on my next life,
Yeah.
because we've all been challenged. I mean, it's not been an easy road for me or for you. And we all have our past, but we need to let go of that because that's part of the illusional
Yeah.
journey. So sorry,
That's it.
I just
No,
get
that's
running like
that.
a
Nah,
running like a
that's okay.
locomotive.
That's what we're here for. But
Okay.
and you're right though. I mean, it's a perfect lead in because I had a couple of points or questions, and then back to you in regard to what you said that I thought was very important. I don't want to overlook it. Um, so it's you're right. The stories are not just what we have talked about and cleared for years, like the traumas and the shadows, and the stories are also the egoic successes. The stories can
Yes.
even be over identification with our multidimensional world and aspects. The human is the hero. This is going back to what you said earlier when you started the show. Um, okay, so you said that you looked in a mirror and you saw these aspects come into you. I had the same thing happen, and I just want to say to everybody, I respect everybody's reality. I think this so much of what we experience is metaphoric, but it's all saying the same thing. Now,
Yes.
just what you said happened to me. Now, Morgan was there. The room filled up with Star Family. Two of them walked around the bed and entered me through the back. A couple of months later, I got a download that it was two aspects of myself. But going back to what you were saying about the nine bodies and really about our multidimensionality, we've all, especially people like you that have been doing it for 30 years or more, we've all spent time out there in the ethers. We've all had these things come in. Sometimes they're clear, sometimes it's fuzzy, sometimes we can't put our finger on it. It's on the tip of our tongue, but there's something going on. And we've done a lot of work and we've pulled in this stuff in alignment. Now, 3 weeks ago, 4 weeks ago, we received a download when we do our nightly communion. And they were saying all of the aspects are in alignment now. The
Yes.
last one is the body, the human. This is the last one to come into alignment. And I think what you said is so important because every night we're going where we go and we're learning and we're planning and we're doing all the things that we've always done that we don't have a whole lot of recall. But the whole point is we're coming back to this earth every day for a reason, and that's to embody and anchor this higher perspective and this higher reality. This is how we convert it. And so it sounds almost mundane when we consider all the stuff that we're comprised of and all the experiences we've had, that it comes down nothing more than a conscious human effort to merge our free will with universal will and to take
Yeah.
ourselves out of the illusion right here. And I know that
Yeah.
sounds mundane and it's not like, the galactic visitations or the angelics appearing before you and all the stuff that we all have happen in different ways. But this is really what it comes down to. And this, I think, is the graduation where the human actually transmutes and then transforms what people might say heaven to earth. where we're going to wake up, literally, figuratively, however you want to put it, and walk outside, and it's going to be like a dream state. That would be the closest way I could see it. But I'm with you on it. The second thing I wanted to say too was and I want to ask you about this weekend and Monday and Tuesday, or have you elaborate on it. One of the things I've noticed, especially this year, is a lot of people's intel is starting to match to a degree where it's just unarguable. So Franco Di Nicola talks about would be tomorrow. Jason Estes talks about the 30th, which I think is Monday or Tuesday. And now you're talking about this weekend. The other thing I would point out too is in 2 weeks is Good Friday and Easter weekend.
Exactly.
We received last comment we received. We didn't really know where we were going to be after today or tomorrow or Sunday. We didn't know where we were going to be. And through divine, divine cooperation, or whatever you want to call it, we found out that we're now good to go through Good Friday. As for that weekend,
staying where you are, staying
yeah,
where you are.
staying where we are. But the significance being, in a small way, that it kind of follows suit with this intel that's coming in from individuals forming the collective intel, and that is Easter weekend seems to be, and has been for a few years, I think, a really big period. So it really feels like something is like birthing. Now, you talked about this weekend. It matches up with others' intel. What
Well,
did you,
actually, I mean, it's kind of Sunday and Monday. It's
Sunday and Monday?
not really the weekend, but
So
Easter, because I had the vision on Easter weekend in 1997. It could be that it's going to be on Easter weekend around the 10th. I was supposed to be in Arizona to a conference with Dr. Hertak, and he had to cancel that. But I was going to say something to what you were reiterating.
While you're thinking about that, let me just point out Monday is the 30th. That's the exact day that Jason cited. That's Franco did cite, but more as a marker tomorrow.
Yeah.
So it is all the same time period. But
it is in this window of time. Yeah. And what is transpiring to each of us is that it's our own personal journey. I wanted to mention the Merkaba. I mentioned that in the video that you enjoyed the other day, and that is, it's not like we're going to go on a ship or have to go on a ship. I mean, we can travel in our Merkabas. That's why my arms are up like this when I wake up in the morning, and we have our Merkaba energy field around us. And so, however, it can be symbolic. Yeah. They've shown me sort of like we're hoisting the earth up to meet the second earth and do that merging. And it's like walking through a doorway. And it's like when somebody passes and goes to the other world, they, they're just like they're walking through a doorway. And this is what we are going to do. Honestly, I mean, I'm like you. I'll watch the news just to observe, but I don't, react to it or anything like that, because, I'm sort of in my reality. And I've been talking to some of my galactic sisters, and we've been comparing notes, and we're all on the same page. We're with you and Morgan and Franco. And I just think the biggest key, the most important key, is to just be. We just have to be. We have to just allow and flow from moment to moment. You know how people will say, oh, that was a perfect healing session. Thank you. And I go, well, perfection is a moment to moment place of being. Nothing feels perfect all the time,
Yeah.
but we hold that perfection in. And as far as, people, I mean, yes, the virus is real. I've had some people in my life in Texas that, had to go through some terrible stuff and they lost a loved one, and it's real. But the thing is, with our vibration, if we just hold that vibration, we might get a little allergy thing or a little head cold, but it's not the virus. And the virus is just an agenda. I mean, all of these things, that's the illusion of the 3D, but it's not my reality. And
Right.
I
Well,
just know what I know.
yeah, yeah, I agree, and I go back to, programming is programming to me. Programming to me is anything that has the potential to take even one iota of your power. We're here to be holy and whole, and that's why I totally agree with what you said. The being, no matter what's going on, we're like the eye in the hurricane, that's why I observe people that might be in fear-based programming that is taking their power away, but also that other side of the polarity where we're going to give you a financial reset. I'm not saying that's not going to happen. I'm not saying that at all. I'm not even saying I hope something wonderful is good or better than that does happen. But when I see my brothers and sisters and myself getting too far over to one side or the other, it doesn't make a difference what side of the polarity is pulling you away from the 0 point. We got to remember, when we go up at night, as you were talking about, we can look down at this experience or experiment or whatever it is, and we don't see right and wrong. We see energy. We see a beautiful incubator, a womb of expansion by virtue of the experience that we've all valiantly chose to be a part of. And that's a huge part of the anchoring, I think, is to maintain that 0 point. And this is where we've done so much work, where we've forgiven, where we've learned greater compassion, where we understand the roles of everyone are vital and significant and invaluable, no matter what it looks like, because my poison might be your pleasure. You know what I mean? It's all it's
Well, we all have our own picture of reality.
Yeah.
I do feel that part of the divine plan that has unfolded um, as a result of what's going on with the worldwide global virus stuff is that it's made people return to
Yeah.
the core, to the home,
Yeah.
and um, just maybe start evaluating. There's
Yeah.
people in my life that have been mainstream and now they're going, Victoria, I
You're
used to
not
think you were kind of crazy, and
you're not crazy.
I really dig what you're saying. So
Victoria, you're not crazy after all, right? Kelton.
but
Let me
but
ask you. Let me ask you this. I mean, I always try to simplify everything, but I let me ask you how you feel. Regardless of how any of us are getting it, it's so close we can taste it. I mean, there's just so many people that are on that. But it's almost like it really comes down to each and every one of us maintaining that, sustaining that holy and whole presence in our energetic field. And at some point, if when it occurs, and X% or whatever the amount is that of light that needs to be illuminated happens, it flips. I mean, it's like we don't have to go convince anybody of anything. It's just really
Mhm.
this whole walking the talk thing, and I'm seeing more and more and more people do it, like yourself. Like you said at the top of the
They're
show.
waking. you know, the masses are waking up. They are waking up. Maybe some are, is it snail's pace, but there are many people waking up. And just like the vision I saw where they kept showing up up at the door, and we got more chairs and more chairs and more chairs. And um, I mean, I've had numerous visions of seeing the streets covered with lambs,
Mm.
and it was in the month of Leo. And I thought, and I had this dream about the lamb in bed with me, the lamb representing the Christ energy, I guess, the Christ light, and that peace is coming. Great and glorious things are coming. I know this, and I think it's not far, and it's on the tip of our tongues. And I sort of just, you know, I don't take too much of the 3D too serious about, you know, the monetary stuff, because the world that I've seen, and I have been going back and forth to, I have actually a residence on a planet.
Yeah.
I'm in the Andromedan galaxy, and I go to that house, and it's beautiful, and it's you know, I have a life there. And I think, well, you know, I love my family and my friends and my tribe on this planet, but I know a lot of us say, hey, you know, I've done this. I mean, this is my 33rd incarnation on Earth. That doesn't count the many I've had on other planets. And but we just have to stay in the moment and hold the vision. I feel like a broken record. Just hold
Yeah.
that vision.
That's
But
okay.
you know,
We need it.
that's the way it is. And I'm really grateful for you, Todd, because you put so much out there. I love your background, by the way. It's
Yeah,
it's so cool. I wish I had something like that, but my office is pretty cool too. So,
yeah, it
but
is. I like yours. Um, so let me ask you, because I know you're connected 24/7. What? Okay, just to kind of go back over what exactly two things. One, what is the latest information or intel that you've received from your connection with your team? And two, what specifically are you referring to from your perspective that occurs Monday, Tuesday, or potentially could?
the second Earth
Okay.
is coming, and it's going to merge, and it's going to collect, it's going to merge with us. And those that are vibrating and ready and twinkling, or whatever you want to say, they're going to be moving on.
Yeah.
I believe that very, very possible we shall go to sleep and we will wake up, and we'll be through it. And I do feel, um, I'm feeling I'm supposed to do another show on Monday with another group. And I just said, you know, we may have to just see what happens, because I'm not sure. We might just be we might just be doing, you know, showtime time's up.
Showtime.
Showtime.
Graduation. Graduation. Yeah.
Absolutely. And so, but I mean, this, I've been in a state of meditation. I was up most of the night last night, and I was asking, you know, what what do you want me to share with the masses? And they mainly said, you know, our light bodies were being changed into light, the molecular structure. I mean, it's possible that whatever's going on with this virus isn't such a bad thing. It might be doing a transmutation thing with people too.
Yeah.
But, you know, once again, I think it's been used as a vehicle. And the visions and the things that those of us that are visionaries, or we have dreams and they're tangible, it can be symbolic. Um, how it manifests, literally, none of us know until
Yeah.
it happens. But I just think, it's like when you're ready to pop out of the womb,
Yeah.
we just have to, I mean, when it's time, it's time. And I I look forward to embracing you and Morgan when we're on through the graduation process. I think it's going to be a celebration, and I've got some very exciting projects that we put on hold because of all of this.
Yeah.
But I told my partners, hey, I think we'll still be able to do them once we, move on and we're in the higher frequency, and we'll be able to manifest what we need. It won't be about the doingness, it'll be about the beingness and
Yeah.
manifesting through our thoughts
Yeah.
and
The
not through our physical efforts.
Yeah, by quantum equations and quantum speed.
Yeah.
Something happened to me last night. Let me first say that over the last, I think, about 7 days, and obviously, because Morgan and I have talked about our experiences openly. She had experiences before, during, without me. I had experiences before I met her, and obviously alone. What I mean, during, but we've had so many together. The last 7 nights, or give or take a night, have been the most powerful dimensional experiences, communications that we've ever had. They've been absolutely off the hook, just off the hook. Last night when we went to bed and we put our hands together, there was a little bit said, and I can't remember what was said at the beginning. It was intel, but then we got quiet, and I connected, and the only way I can describe what happened, and I know it's not just me, my human aspect, almost like the most fervent prayer, okay, that I could have or have ever had, merged with the etherical and energetic fields. In other words, we do things energetically and etherically, and then they come down here and they play out on the timeline. But
Mhm.
last night, something happened, and I know it's not just me. It, and that fervent prayer from the human aspect, from the human heart, aligned with all the energetic stuff. Uh, and it was the most incredible thing. I still don't have my arms around it, but I know that it feels like you just said a minute ago. It feels like everything's lined up, and the baby's coming out of the birth canal.
We are the process, the divine plan is on course.
Yeah.
All is well. All is well. I see a new level of essence around you, Todd,
Mm,
today. I see it. I feel it. And I'm sure that we all sometimes we look in the mirror and we hardly recognize ourselves anymore because we are changing. And hopefully we're youthing. I mean, you know,
yeah, I'm
I
hoping
can't I
so.
can't wait. I can't wait. I just had another birthday, another trip around the sun, but
Yeah.
I feel like a 17-year-old really, and I'm sticking to that, But with what you experienced, um, they are they are recalibrating, they are lining up the mechanism and the whole, locking in. I've had numerous visions about this, that I was standing on the beach and somebody had their arms around me, and we beamed up. We beamed up. And there's been times when I've been running out into the dark and the ship's been there and I know that they've beamed me up. But there's these changes that they're making in your body, mind, and spirit, and your consciousness, your subconsciousness, your divineness. And it's a unification process. You're being unified
Yeah.
with your Christ light body. That's what I get from spirit.
Yeah.
And they just said that to me, and to say that to you.
I can feel it. I can feel it. I can sense it, and yeah,
Yeah.
we got something 3 or 4 nights ago, and I won't go into the specifics of it because I believe Morgan's going to write about it. She can explain a lot better than I can. But in that moment, and it was the equinox. I think it was the night after the equinox when we were shown that on the equinox that they showed us the grid, and that there was a certain plan to get certain, I guess, grid points on the grid all activated at the same time. And that we
Yes.
hit that point on the equinox. And then it created a whole new realm of limitedlessness, of unlimitedness. It, I saw it, and I feel it. And it's, it's beyond, I guess what I'm trying to say is it's so far beyond anything I can conceive, that now this willingness to surrender is so much easier if all I have to do is just be. And really,
Yeah.
that's what you said at the beginning. I mean, and I know that sounds really cliche and new ageist, but it's
I
not.
mean, simplicity is really, it's such an easy road to take. I tell people, in this dimension, maybe I don't seem that intelligent, but in the universe, I'm a brilliant scientist. I mean, but I wasn't put here to go into these complicated, long definitions of things. I mean, I'm very simplistic in my message of what I share. And, with the earth and what the earth is doing, Mother Earth, the volcanoes and the earthquakes, of course, I feel them all. But it's been lately, it has not been quite as uncomfortable for me. And
Yeah.
I think it's because we're working through that process, and even the animals, oh my gosh. I'm staying, right now, I don't really have a home. I'm
Welcome to
in
the club. Welcome to
I
the
mean,
club.
I have my office, but I'm in Pagosa and I'm staying with friends, and I'm taking care of their fish. And I've been bonding with this little, it's one of those little fluffy fishes, and I sing to it, and I hold my hand up to the glass and it swims over, and it's so happy when I talk to it.
Yeah.
And the animals know
Yeah.
what's coming too.
Yeah.
And people say, well, will my pet go with me? And I said, absolutely, your pets are going to go with you. I mean, it's it's like a wave. We're navigating on the wave, but we're riding that wave, and we're going to go through the eye of the needle. And even those people that are in relationships, you have to let go for just a second, Todd,
Hmm.
to
I've
go
done it.
through,
I
to
know. I've
dive,
done it many times.
and then on the other, and then you take Morgan's hand and you
Mhm.
move on. And a lot of us have, I just, a lot of us have been doing the singlehood thing for quite a while, but
Mhm.
I'm so married to my mission that I can't wait to just get to this next step.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, and that's a really good point, is the detachment. I mean, we've had to do it so many times alone, and there'll be times we're together, we lay down at night, and the first thing they do is they come in and they say, "Are you ready to go to expand again?" And we say yes, and they say, "Well, you have to let go of each other." And we don't know if we're coming back together. We know because it resonates and it aligns,
you
and you
will,
just, I
you
know,
will.
and we always do, and we always come back an expanded level. The other thing I think and that's what I say, it's almost mundane. It's like, because all of these complications, we forgot how simple it was, to your point. And it's that simple. And
The
and
mind of a child is simple.
yes.
We have to go back to being a child. really.
Exactly. And probably the only difference between us and these young people that are starting to fill up, and think about 9 months from now, all the babies that are going to be born, right? Think about the
Yes,
energy they're going to bring to their. But we went first, and we developed shadow through conditioning. And that's another thing that I think everybody's kind of got to now, is that when in doubt, the pursuit of the shadow and the removal of the shadows and the illusion and the attachments and the resistance and everything, it brings out the gold of the soul. And that's where I think we're at. I think this whole thing, the gift of universal isolation is a huge.
letting go of all attachments. I mean,
Yeah.
you've let go of it right now. I mean, I'm safe. I'm with friends. You know, I looked at my storage unit the other day and I said, well, it's a good thing everything's in there because I'm going to be living on the ship, you know.
Yeah, right. So I've never, I don't think I've ever asked you this before, but on the other times we've done shows together, but I know you connect all the time.
I do.
And I don't know if you would like to do a blessing or connect or
Yes,
channel or anything like that in the
I
moment
will.
with us. We would be very honored.
I would love to. First, I would love to just sing a little prayer for you and then give everyone a blessing.
Okay.
Ooh, universe, oh universe, abundance is thy name, in perfect peace and harmony. We join the joyful game. Oh, universe, oh, universe, we set our spirits free and promise now to share our lives in peace and harmony. We call forth upon the powers of the universe and the Holy Spirit, upon all of our brothers and sisters of other worlds, upon our beloved masters, Mother Mary, Jesus Christ, Saint Germain, Babaji, Kuthumi, El Morya, and Buddha. And we are thankful. We are in gratitude for your love and your support of us on this journey. And we lift our hearts and souls up into your loving arms, and we know that all is well. We know that the divine plan unfolds before us, that this journey has been long and sometimes difficult, but we lay our armor down, we lay our sorrows down, we lay our crosses down, and we embrace all that divine light and our Christ light, divine destiny that we can embrace now, becoming one with each other in this glorious, great emergence with heaven on earth, our new earth, moving out of the illusion and into universal reality. And we celebrate the lessons learned in our many life cycles. But we know that Mother Earth, Blessed Gaia, is going through a transformation that never before has she gone through. And we embrace that with her, and we love each other, and we hold hands, and we circle the earth with this love and the visualization that our great and glorious emergence with the second earth shall be manifested and initiated in a timeliness which is upon us now, as we live in each moment, as we breathe in each moment, as we love unconditionally, we forgive and we let go, and we become a beautiful polished crystal that is pristine, one with our great creator and one with our divine destiny. And we seal this in the light and the love and the truth, blessing each and every soul with what they need to get ready. It's time to go home.
Mm.
It is done. It is done. It is done. Amen. Amen. And amen.
Mm. And so it is, sweet,
And
beloved,
so it
precious
is.
sister.
Thank you.
we should I think we're starting to maybe try to schedule. We have a huge backlog, but maybe we can get together again in 3 or 4 weeks and see where we stand.
Sounds wonderful, Todd. And thank you. Blessings to you and Morgan Lee.
Thank
Love
you.
you.
Thank
And
you. Yeah. I want to
and
say we have some serious validation on this program, this particular episode. We've been using a multiple stream platform for the last few days. We had a lot of problems with it. We've lost some views, at least live views, but this is the first show. We're on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 platforms right now. They're all live, including Zoom. And the primary one on my page went over 100 people, and the other 4 all went into double digits. It's the first time we've done a show that all 5 platforms were in double digits, as well as this page going over 100. So I don't mention that.
wonderful.
I don't mention that for 3D measurement purposes. I mention that because I know energetic alignment when I see it, and I just wanted to share that with you. And thank you
Thank
for.
you. And I just want to say that if anyone needs me, they can write to Victoria Liljenquist at Gmail, or and go to my website, victoriaslight.com, or go to my YouTube channel if they want to view some of my other messages. And my heart is full. I just send you so much love and thanks and gratitude. Thank you, Todd, and bless you each and every day. And I'm going to make my donation today, so I hope everyone else will too.
You're sweet. Thank you so much, sweetheart. I'll see you in 3 or 4 weeks.
God
I
bless.
love you very much.
I love you too, my brother. Thank you.
You take care.